Technology, it's always something.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Transparent Tuesday. Thank you for joining in.
I know.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about the truth behind the scenes of depression and suicide. I have the Miss Wonderful Venus Chandler on with me as my special guest tonight. She's a coach and author, and also she has a new show as well that she does on Facebook Live every Monday nights. So make sure that you guys tune in so you guys can see that and don't miss an episode. Good evening, welcome. Thank you for being on. Can you hear me, Venus? Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you, Miss Lady. Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always a pleasure to
I
have
can
you on.
hear you, but it's real delayed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. My end, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your end, it kind of freezes a little bit.
It's delayed.
Oh goodness. I don't know this. I don't know if it's my internet or if it's yours, but let's see how we can get through this, if it'll start cooperating. Can you hear me now? Is it still delayed now? Okay, let me turn the volume down a little bit. Is it better now in regards to the volume? Can you hear me, or is there still a buzz? Okay, so let's see if you can. Okay, you guys bear with us, please. We're having a little bit of internet issues. I don't know why, but there's a delay. Tonight we wanted to get on, though. I'll wait for her to come back on. We wanted to get on and discuss depression and suicide. We've been noticing on social media and also on the news that there's been a lot of suicide. There's been hanging. Some of the hangings they're saying is suicide, and they're investigating it and stuff. But with everything that's going on, as we can see, the enemy is really, really busy, and the place that he attacks mainly is the mind. And, when you're alone and you're separated from your foundation or those that are surrounded by you, being attacked on your mind is an easy thing. And if you have a history of depression or a history of mental illness, then that makes it even easier for the attacks to come. And it's harder for you to fight it off because it's something that you battled with previously. As I shared with you guys on a previous Transparent Tuesday that I had done, I battled previously with depression and I battled with suicide as well. So I know that it's hard. It's not something that you are eager to share with people that you're battling with. It's not something that you're able to really reach out and ask for help. Sometimes you don't know who to ask for help or you're afraid of being judged. So that's why it's very, very important to have a strong support system. It's really important not to be judgmental of others because you don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. You don't know what they're battling with when they're by themselves, what they're battling with in their minds. So it's not an easy thing, and admitting it and asking for help is the first step of knowing that there's a problem, but it's not always an easy step. I've noticed in the African American community when it comes down to mental health, a lot of people don't like to admit that they have a problem, or they don't like to admit that their children have a problem. I'm currently looking into becoming a mental health advocate. This is what my platform really is all about, is mental health and the behind the scenes battles that people face that no one is really willing to discuss. And depression and suicide is one of those. It's a major, major, major one because you can look at somebody and you assume that they're okay, or based on the things that they post on social media, you're like, oh, they're living a good life. But you don't know that when they go home and they close that door and they put those babies to sleep, that they're really dying on the inside, that they're fighting. And little things like not answering the phone or showing up to family gatherings or really separating themselves is telltale signs of that there's a problem, that they need help. But no one usually pays attention to that. A lot of times people are so caught up in themselves and what they have going on that they don't take the time to notice what's going on with someone else, or to simply ask them if they're okay, if they want to talk, if they need a hug. Um, do they need help with anything? Just those little things. You never know, by saying, how is your day? Could just open them up to let them know that they're loved, that, they're cared about. And this is something that is right now that I'm noticing. It's very serious. It's something that needs to be discussed. Now, in this time, we don't need to hide things anymore. We don't need to be worried about being judged anymore. Um, we need to make sure that we're okay, that, our mental, we have another generation that's looking at us and they suffer as well. I was shocked to find out that, younger children battle with depression and they battle with suicide, and they're afraid to say anything, to tell their parents, or to ask for help because of the stigma that, we're not supposed to tell anybody our business outside of our home. We're not supposed to, like, boys, they're not supposed to cry or be emotional, and that's not true. Everyone should be able to express how they feel. They should never be ashamed to ask for help. They should never be ashamed to be judged. Um, when I was battling with depression, I was young. I was the first time I was in a group home, and I felt unloved. I felt like nobody cared about me. So I felt like if I killed myself, nobody would care. And I was put in a mental hospital. And my mom came to visit me then, but it was once, twice, maybe three times that I got the visits, and I was there for a few months. And after that, it seemed like every time I was in a dark place, every time I wasn't able to reach out and to ask for help, or I was feeling unloved, feeling alone, those abandonment issues were coming up. I was feeling like there was no one there for me, no one that I can confide in, no one that would help me. I went to being depressed. I went to locking myself in. I would take care of my responsibility with my children, but then I would lock myself in my room. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't really communicate or live the way that I should. I was a cutter at one point in time. That was a release of my feelings, cutting myself. It was a different kind of pain, so I wasn't able to focus on the emotional pain that I was going through, but I focused on the physical pain, like, oh, I'm bleeding, or, oh, this is what's going on. And that's a scary feeling, to want to cause yourself physical pain so you don't have to deal with the mental and the emotional hurt and pain that you're going through. Right now, God's building up an army, those that were quiet and behind the scenes, he's bringing them to the forefront. And I'm noticing with this army that's being built up, we have testimonies. We've been through a lot of things. We've been through mental battles. We've been through physical battles. And now is our time to share. Now is the time to let that testimony out. Now is the time to let other people know that they're not alone. They're not alone with the battles that they're facing, that, God hears them, that there's people surrounding them that care about them. My cell phone is always on. My number's been the same for the past 10, 11 years. I have no problem with anybody sending me a text message, calling me anytime, just to be that ear, just that so that someone knows they're not alone. They haven't experienced things by themselves. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell your business. The conversation is safe between me, you, and God. And, I just want to help. I want to bring awareness to the community. Um, I plan on doing a few things in the high desert and then expanding from there. Mental health is very important. It's something that is real. You can't hide it. You can't fake it. Um, it needs to be talked about. The veil needs to be brought off. It needs to not be talked about secretive anymore. There's nothing wrong with someone because they have these feelings, because they feel depressed, because they feel unworthy, they feel unloved. That means that they're lacking something in their life and they just need a little help. Like for me, when I was going through it, I felt the lack of love. I felt the lack of importance. I felt like a failure. And if I just had one person to say, it's okay, you're not alone. I'm here for you. You can come and cry to me. You can talk to me. Um, I think that it would have been a little different. It would have been easier for me to get through, but it was a battle that I mainly fought by myself, except for when I lived in Apple Valley and I was ready to commit suicide. My neighbor came in and she prayed and talked with me out of that situation. But beyond that, it was a silent battle that I was fighting by myself. On the outside, I looked like I was okay. Yes, my life had drama and different things that it was going through, but I made it look easy. I made it seem as though I was okay. There was nothing wrong with me. But on the inside, I was dying. I was really, really dying. I was dying. I couldn't find myself. I didn't know who Frances was. I was trying to, you know, cling and run to God, but I just felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I had kids and I wasn't enough for them. I felt them. I was just a complete failure, and it wasn't the case. I was just in a bad spot and I did not know how to ask for help. I didn't know who to go for help, and I was afraid of being judged. And I think a lot of times with these silent battles, whether it's depression, whether it's suicide, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's homelessness, whether it's poverty, whether it's if you're cheating or you're outside of God's will in any type of way, judgment is something that stops people from reaching out and saying they have a problem. It stops people from getting the help that they need. Sometimes, feeling the need to in your life means you don't have to suffer anymore. You don't have to suffer by yourself. You don't have to worry about somebody talking about you. You don't have to worry about if you enter the room and people are whispering and they're saying things about you or gossiping around you. You don't have to worry about the social media bullying. That's another thing that is big as well that people need to work on. All these subs on Facebook, all these subs on Instagram, it needs to stop because the person that you're subbing, the person that you're talking about and you're attacking on social media, you don't know how it's affecting them. You don't know if that one post is the one that pushes them over the edge. You don't know if that one post is the thing where they're already at rock bottom, but it's the feather that breaks the camel's back. You never know. It's so much anger, so much hurt, so much resentment, jealousy, competition in this world. What happened to the humanity? What happened about loving a neighbor? What happened about checking on a friend or checking on, that strong friend, the one that's always there for everybody, making sure that everybody is okay? What happened to checking on them? What happened to, that there's this single mom struggling, trying to do it by herself and going by and saying, you know what? Can I make dinner for you guys tonight? Can I wash some clothes for you guys tonight? What happened to the sense of having a heart and caring about other people? Yes, in order to help somebody else, you have to help yourself. Yes, everybody is trying to make it in the world and trying to build themselves up. Everyone's trying to build an empire or build a brand or build a ministry. Yes, I get all of that. But how can you say that you're doing the work of God, or you're a Christian and you don't have a heart of God? You don't have a heart to help. You don't have a heart to see someone in need and help them. It doesn't always have to be financially. It can be a word, sending someone a scripture or a good morning text, or taking a bag of food to somebody. What happened to those simple things in life that no one does anymore? People are quick to judge. They're quick to down somebody. They're quick to say they're better than the next. They're quick to hold their head up high, like, there's no issues in their life. But what happened to picking up the phone or making a drive by, or just someone's situation, whether someone else is gossiping about it or they're confiding in you? Oh, excuse me. And instead of trying to help, you spread their business to somebody else. I know that's not what God has taught me. I know that when I was in my desert, when I was homeless, I was, going from pillar to post. I was debating on killing myself. I was just ready to just give up on life. That didn't help me at all. It made it worse. It made me feel worse. I know that self-esteem is supposed to be about yourself, but when you've had traumatic experiences, whether it's from childhood, whether it's in an adulthood, the things that people say to you, it matters. And what some people don't realize is once the words have left their mouth, they cannot take them back. The effects are there. Physical things, the scars go away. But once the words are in your brain, sometimes you lay down at night and you think about it. You replay it in your head. You replay the conversations. So words cannot be taken back once they're said. Once you put something out on social media or on the internet, or you send a text message or you leave a voicemail, you can't delete that. You can't take it back. It's already given to the person that you sent it to. It's so much cruelty, so much hate in this world right now. And it's really, really sad. It's sad that a person that's in need and feel like, they're hanging on to that last string of life can't go to anybody and ask for help without being worried about being judged. It's not easy for me to come here and say, you know what? I used to be a cutter. I tried to kill myself a few times. I slit my wrist. I took pills. I tried to run in front of a car. I even tried to hang myself with a sheet. But I'm hoping by me being honest and transparent and sharing my story, that this video reaches somebody and lets them know you're not alone, not to be ashamed. Without a test, there's no testimony. So you can't give advice or try to help somebody if you've never been through anything in your life. Everything in our past, or even if somebody's struggling with something now, it's necessary. You know, people, if I'm not mistaken, the way it's said is many are called, but few are chosen. The ones that are chosen, their lives are not easy. Their walk, picking up your cross and walking with God, it's not an easy thing. It's very hard. You lose people, lose material things, you get tested from your kids and your marriage and your friends, because people want to tear you down. They want to prove you're not who you say that you are. They want to prove that you're still the old person that you are, not knowing what you're going through to try to help, to try to get God's message across, to try to let people know they're not alone, just to try to move forward, to try to do better. And it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. Everyone should be able to help the next person if they're able to. If they know some information and the other person is struggling with it, they should be able to share. No one should ever feel so alone, so judged, so down, so sad, so hurt, so depressed that they have to end their life. It's too many people in this world for that to happen. So if you notice a friend, a foe, a family member, someone that you're close to, even if you're not close to them, but you notice them isolating themselves, You notice that there used to be a big person posting on social media and they're not doing it anymore. You don't see this person around anymore. Check on them. Make sure they're okay. You don't know if that's their depression, their worrying, them not feeling good enough, them not feeling good about themselves. These are all, signs that something is going on, something isn't right. And you checking on them could be the one phone call, the one drive by, the one knock on the door that lets them know that they're loved, that they're cared about, that they're important, and they're worth living. Their life is worth living. That they don't need to just give up. It's going to be hard. It's, when you change things in life and you try to do better, you're supposed to be uncomfortable. That's part of the process. It's not supposed to make you feel good. The point of it is to grow you. So, but some people don't do good with change. It's not easy for them. And when you're so used to a cycle and you're used to your life being a certain way and you try to change it, people don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to. And they need guidance. They need a support system. Having a strong foundation is important. Having a support system is important. Having, even if it's just one person that you can talk to or one person that you can confide in, it's really, really, really important. The whole point of the enemy is to steal, kill, and destroy. Don't allow yourself or anyone that you know or you're connected to be so separated that the enemy is able to just attack their minds to still kill and destroy them. You can save a life with a kind word. You can save a life with a lunch, with a conversation. You're important. Those connected to you are important. Suicide's real. Depression is real. Overdosing is real. um, Failure, it's real. All of these mental health issues are important and it's real. And my goal is to bring awareness. I know we're taught when we're younger to keep our business in our house, don't go and tell it, don't talk about it. But in this time, it needs to be talked about. Seeing a counselor, seeing a therapist does not make you crazy. It does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. What it shows is that you know that you need help and you're willing to go and get it. There's therapists, there's counselors. You should be able to, the elders in the church, you should be able to reach out to them, to confide in them, and to talk to them so you can get that off of your chest and stay prayed up. That's most important. Praying daily, covering yourself, covering your mind, covering your family, your household. You have to stay in prayer. You have to stay prayed up. You have to keep your sight on God, because if you don't, that's when you pray less and you pray less and you're in your word less, and it's easily to be distracted. It's easy to get off of course. And that's something that I think that we've all dealt with. I know I have myself. I'm first to admit that I have not prayed the way I should or been in my word like I should have. And those are always the times that the enemy is easily and able to come in and sidetrack me and attack me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, in a panic, what am I going to do? And all of these things. And attacks come when you're prayed up. Don't let me say that in the wrong way. So if I said it the wrong way, then I apologize. But when you're praying, the attacks come. The enemy's trying to, stop the blessing, stop what's going to happen, stop the next step. Just think about it. If we were all to be on one accord, because the mission is to save souls and to get God's word across. So if we were all to be on one accord, we were all to work the piece of the body that we are, do you know how many miracles and signs and wonders that we would see? All of these things that are going on, the enemy wouldn't be able to get away with it. But we're not on one accord. A lot of times people can't even pray for each other. And that's how we're able to be distracted. We're able to be attacked in our minds and our bodies and our souls and our spirits and our homes, division. Like I said earlier, all the jealousy, the hate, the competition, and everything that's going on, it affects people. Everyone does not have thick skin. Everyone is not as strong as the next person is. Just because you're able to take something Doesn't mean the person that you're dealing with, you're connected to, is able to take it the same that way that you are. Have a heart. Have a heart. That's really, really, really important. Don't be someone that's adding on to the hate. Try to be someone that's stopping the hate. I hope you guys share this video. I hope it reaches someone that it's able to reach, that's needed to hear the word, to hear what I had to say tonight. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And like I said, my line is always open. Social media, you can reach out to me if you're that person and you need somebody to talk to, you need a word of encouragement. You need to know that you're not alone and you're not the only person that's going through this. We all have struggles. When you elevate in life, it's a different devil, it's a different struggle. So no one is alone in anything that they're going through. You guys have a good night.